Good morning. I'm Meghan Lazier, and I hope you had a pleasant commute this morning. Up here on the screen is a little stat for comparison. The average commute in the U.S. is just over 4 hours per week, and New Yorkers spend nearly double that time commuting. But what does the average commute look like for a disabled person in New York City? I spent the last year researching the commutes of disabled New Yorkers, and to put it bluntly, the disabled are second-class commuters. In a city of over 8 million people, 800,000 New Yorkers are disabled. And because of old and costly infrastructure, many disabled people cannot use the same public transportation system that you and I may rely on every day. Instead, many disabled commuters use paratransit. Paratransit is a separate public transportation system for people with disabilities, and it's mandated by the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act. Across the USA, any city that has public transportation options must also offer paratransit. In New York City, the paratransit program is called Access-a-Ride. It currently has the capacity for 140,000 riders. The program receives nearly 45,000 applications per month, and the service is expected to grow 7% each year, according to Paratransit Vice President Tom Jones. If a disabled commuter is accepted into Access-a-Ride, when they need a ride, they must book it 24 to 48 hours in advance. At the designated time, a vehicle should pick them up wherever they are and take them wherever they need to go. Oftentimes, other passengers share the same vehicle. It's a door-to-door service, and it costs the rider the same amount as a subway fare. Access-a-Ride was created to give disabled commuters independence. But usability is different than accessibility. I collaborated with a wide range of Access-a-Ride users to better understand the system. Vicky is an 80-year-old from Brooklyn Heights. Dustin is a 26-year-old from Hollis, Queens. While you might think their experience on Access-a-Ride would be different, as I did at the beginning of this process, the problems with the system that complicates their lives are virtually the same. So what's wrong with Access-a-Ride? Let me walk you through the problems that Vicky and Dustin face every day. Riders feel like they're just a number. When a rider calls to book a ride, they are never called to or referred to by their name. They're referred to by their Access-a-Ride number. Rides are consistently late. Vicky and Dustin both told me that they need to plan for their ride to pick them up at least 2 hours in advance of when they need to be somewhere in order to account for a combination of late rides and traffic. The MTA is allowed a 30-minute grace period, meaning that rides that arrive up to 30 minutes late are considered on time by the MTA. Riders have to take this into account when they book a ride. Drivers are only allowed to wait for passengers for 5 minutes. That means once a vehicle arrives, Vicky only has 5 minutes to get to her vehicle, even if she's at a doctor's office on the 17th floor with a busy elevator. If she's late, her Access-a-Ride may have already left. Routes are inflexible. If an address is somehow communicated incorrectly when booking, there's no way to make a course correction after boarding the vehicle and learning about the discrepancy. Finally, riders do not have real-time, up-to-date information about their ride status. Vicky has missed an important funeral, and Dustin has often been left out of social activities because of delays in receiving information about their rides. These issues impact over 140,000 people, each and every time they board Access-a-Ride. Access-a-Ride is a system that can work, but there need to be simple changes made that allow for passengers to have more information about where their ride actually is. I wondered, how might we help Access-a-Riders gain more control and independence using existing technology? So I looked at what technology already exists. Every Access-a-Ride vehicle is already equipped with a GPS dashboard and an information terminal called an AVLM. The data is housed in one database with all other information about the system, which makes it a very easy platform to build and add on to. And 44% of riders have access to a cell phone through their own phone or that of a caretaker, according to the MTA's own rider survey. That's over 61,000 riders, and that number will continue to grow. This number is also a conservative estimate. The Pew Internet and American Life Projects, it estimates that closer to 77% of adults over 65 own and use a cell phone. I created a mobile app to combine these two technologies. It's Uber for paratransit. It's called Alert-A-Ride. Each feature on the Alert-A-Ride app was created to alleviate a specific pain point on an Access-A-Rider's commute. Let me walk you through how Vicki and Dustin would use the app. When Vicki logs into the app, she never needs to punch in a number. Instead, she can use her personal email address. After logging in, Dustin can see his upcoming ride. He has immediate sense of how far away his ride is. If he wants more information, he can simply tap the vehicle icon. He'll know if his ride is going to be on time, and if not, when it's expected to arrive. The address or cross streets of the current location of the Access-A-Ride vehicle are present. A link to the MTA's online ride booking system simplifies having to search the internet for a link buried in the MTA's website. Everything is on one platform. An alerts option caters to individual communication preferences. If Vicki wants an email when a ride is 5 miles away because she needs more time to exit a building, she can readjust her preferences at any time. Finally, Dustin and Vicki have access to their trip history. If they need to look up an address that they've been to recently, it's already logged for them. They can simply copy and paste their trip history and book their next ride online from the app. After showing my prototype to Dustin, he said, "I feel like you got inside my head and designed what I've been thinking about for the last year." Immediately after we tested the app together, his ride was parked in the wrong location. He said he'd wished he'd had the app, as he would have been able to locate his vehicle immediately and could have avoided contacting the call center. Fortunately, riders are not the only ones interested in the app. On April 30th, I pitched my Alert-A-Ride idea to the head of the paratransit division with New York City Councilman Corey Johnson. While the MTA was receptive, they said they were not planning to build an app for the next 8 to 10 years. To put this into perspective, an app could be built in as short of a time frame as 2 to 3 months. And for further perspective about the pace of technology, let's take a look back 10 years. YouTube had just launched. USBs had replaced floppy disks universally. Microsoft Xbox 360 debuted. There was no iPhone or App Store. But I'm not taking no for an answer. A developer estimated the cost to build the app at approximately $175,000. If you divide this cost by the MTA's estimated number of users with cell phone, it breaks down to the cost of less than $3 per person, almost the cost as one trip per person on Access-A-Ride itself. And while my app is not yet a reality, my long-term vision is to help encourage the MTA to release data about Access-A-Ride so that citizen designers and developers like myself can work together to create even more tools for disabled commuters. In many ways, my work is just beginning. It's not just New York where these ideas could make a real impact. Across America, in every city that has public transportation, paratransit is required by law. I have also been approached by the city of Austin, Texas about my intervention and plan to present my findings to other cities that have an interest. As Dustin says, you don't care about what you don't understand. So if people take the time to understand more about Access-A-Ride, they'll probably care enough to change it. Please help support a real-time revolution in paratransit. Visit alertaride.org to learn more. Thank you.